really quick, just backstory. If no one knows, I'm the director of e-commerce at Jones Road Beauty. Probably not the best title, but essentially I'm involved in a little bit of everything on our marketing side and beyond. But mostly growth. So started as an ads guy. Was doing a lot of email. I don't know if Joanne Coffey's on now, but she's our associate manager of retention. So she's the one who's actually doing all of our retention and email right now. But I'm all buying all of our media, strategizing, definitely just all aspects of our growth, our website, all that kind of stuff. So one thing I've been talking a lot about, and as we're growing, I mean, we're a 8-figure business and we're growing rapidly. And one thing I really wanted to do this year was expand onto another platform, just so that we're not relying on Facebook. We have a good amount of organic traffic, we have a good amount of earned media from press and all that kind of stuff, and that's extremely important. So that's the most important thing, is before I start talking about ads and funnels and stuff like that, like this is just one part of the business, and the entire business is extremely important. But so I really wanted to get on other platforms. I thought we would get on TikTok, and I didn't really think our customer was there. I thought they were a little bit too young, wasn't really the makeup style that really appeals to people on TikTok. Um, Fortunately, we went viral. It's kind of like changed things, but with that, I've also been scaling TikTok spend. I'm spending a good amount on TikTok, more than most people I've talked to, and it took a little bit to crack the code. But one thing that really helped was quizzes. So one reason why I didn't really think that TikTok was going to be that great for us is, everybody talks about it, like the traffic quality isn't great. The customers on there, they're younger, they're not worth nearly as much, and I believe that initially. Our AOV, our average order value, is about $100, and we can drive most of our Facebook traffic to PDPs, to product pages, and our average product is like, sorry, I just saw Lily's can't confirm Joanna's the best. Totally agree. Thanks, Lily. So we can drive most of our traffic to PDP, and even though our average product is like 25, $30, our AOV is like $100 from Facebook, because for whatever reason, people on Facebook, they're taking the time to go browse around, buy other stuff, and I'll talk about my theories as to why. Um, on TikTok, that was not the case. So we were driving our traffic to PDVs, they would get that product, so our AOV was like $60. So that's just not scalable. I'm looking to get something up to the 90 to 100 range, just so that we can increase our allowable CPA and be able to scale more. And I don't really know how I kind of started with the quiz. I think I was just talking to somebody and just kind of, brainstorming what to, I think we got some good stuff in terms of knowing what creative work. Like that was the most important thing, figure out kind of what type of creative is going to work there. But then it's like, all right, what type of landers are going to work? So what type of landing pages and what types of offers? We're not a brand that really does any discounting. I mean, we don't even really do a discount for Black Friday. We'll put some custom bundles together and add a little discount in there. So, that's not something, like I know a lot of people will do like a TikTok 10 or TikTok 20 and like do a code. That's not something that we, as part of our strategy. So, part of the offer was figuring out what it is. And I've been a big quiz fan for a while. And so we run all of our TikTok traffic. It's about like 8K a day in spend now, give or take, to an advertorial. I will drop the link in here. I can also share it later. But so we run all of our traffic to that, to a landing page that looks like it's an article. It's like a 5 reasons why angle that we're doing, and then the offer from there is the quiz. So it's a super simple funnel. There's definitely a lot that we can do to optimize it, but it's been insanely successful. It got our AOV from about 60, $75 to 90, 95, which is still a little bit lower than everywhere else, but I will totally take that. So a few reasons why I think that's so important, why I love the quiz. If you think about what TikTok is as a platform, it's not a social platform, it's an entertainment platform. It's not, Facebook, you've got the links built in there. So Facebook is a social platform, Instagram is a social platform, but TikTok is all video. There aren't really great links. Even on ads, the links are not super prominent. So I view TikTok, and I think that they view it this way as well, just talking to some of the reps, as a top of funnel discovery platform, right? It's not a direct middle funnel, bottom of funnel conversion platform. That's Facebook. Obviously, that's Google. That's not the real goal. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to engage with customers or prospects where they're at. because a lot of people talk about TikTok, and I mentioned this briefly, TikTok users being lower quality. I don't actually think so. I really don't. I think that it's just the state that they're in. That if you can find a way to capture these people's information and follow up with them on a different platform when they're in a different state, when they're more ready to buy, right? Because TikTok is interruption marketing. We're interrupting them. But not only are we interrupting them, like they have literally zero desire to be shopping at that moment. They're literally trying to just learn about new stuff, and they're trying to discover new stuff and let the algorithm work for them. So I don't really want to make that direct offer right then and there, because even if I do acquire that customer, I believe that acquiring a customer quickly is sometimes the worst thing that you can do. And you actually want to lengthen the funnel so you can get more information, more education to them, also more storytelling. That way, if you get more touch points in there, instead of just what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to build a brand. We're trying to build a 8 and 9 figure brand, and I'm not trying to use ads to get sales and get return on investment. I'm trying to do it to acquire customers who are then going to become very loyal customers to our brand long term. So I don't want them just buying product. I want them buying our brand as much as the products, right? Like great products are super important, but I want them buying into that stuff before they actually purchase, because that's when their dopamine is going to be highest. And that's when I think I want to have a really lasting, effect and impression on them. So that being said, I don't want, even if I could get them to convert with a landing page or a standard product page, really quickly, I want to actually slow it down, and I'm okay with that. So to me, the quiz makes sense, because then not only can you get their email, you follow up with them. I mean, we're driving, I put it on Twitter. I think we drove 50,000 total emails or total quiz completions last month in January. I think we probably added like 36, some of those had taken it before. I think we added like 36K net new email signups from that, which is, I mean, if you think about that and annualize that, like the incremental impact that that can have on your business long term is like pretty amazing. And not only that, but also because you collect all of this first party data, you can then just personalize it so much and provide such a great welcome to your brand that you just can't do that otherwise. Usually you're talking, one to many, and you're just hoping and guessing what somebody's going to like. Versus if you're using a personalized flow based off of your first party data in the quiz, like you can make sure you're educating your consumer and following up with them with the exact stuff that they've told you they're interested in. So that's huge. So I really don't believe, and again, I'm sorry if I'm kind of rambling and going all over, but I'm going to go back to this point. I really don't believe that the TikTok consumer is worth any less than anybody else. At this stage in the game, TikTok was the most trafficked domain in 2021. Everybody is on TikTok. It's not just for kids. That was kind of a false belief that I had to get over. Everybody is on it. I mean, our first video that went viral was makeup tips for 50 plus. It's got, it got a million views in the first 30 in the first 24 hours. So it's not that they're low quality, it's that they are not in the perfect state of mind, and their behavior patterns aren't in the perfect shopping framework and experience. For example, this is kind of the example I've been throwing out there. Like I come from like a direct response, like info product background. So we would do a lot of like webinars, like on demand recorded, like 40-minute webinars. And when we would run traffic on YouTube, or I'd work with somebody running traffic on YouTube, the cost per lead would be higher than Facebook. But because people would stick around and watch the webinar, so then the cost per kind of call booked would actually be the same, if not better. Because if you think about what somebody's doing on YouTube, a lot of times they're on desktop, and the average, again, I don't know the exact stats, but the average watch times on YouTube are like insanely high. It's like a 40-minute average session, which is like crazy. And if you guys have ever been in like a YouTube rabbit hole, like what I'm talking about. So that being said, like it's really, if you guys have ever had a job, if you're doing this right now, where you have to constantly change your state, if you have to go back and forth between different roles and you're on meetings, off meetings, you're just kind of flipping back and forth, it's exhausting, right? And the last thing you ever want to make a consumer do is do too much work. Because if you're relying on them to do work, you're not going to get them to do what you want to do. So I want to make my funnel and my landing page and my entire journey as congruent to the state of behavior that the person's in at the time. So if I'm doing YouTube traffic, like I'm fine to send it to a long form webinar. If I'm doing, and this is not something we run for our e-commerce business, but if I'm running like if you guys know those like native ads on like the big news sites where while people are reading articles, I'm probably gonna send that to like a long form advertorial, to like a written landing page, because that's what people are already doing. So there's no friction to get them to do something different. The problem with TikTok is they are consuming content so quickly. Like, look over somebody's shoulder while they go on TikTok, they're just swiping, 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 you know? So that's not the best state of behavior, right? I'm not going to ask them to completely change it. So in my opinion, the quiz is perfect because 90 something percent of TikTok sessions and whatnot are on the For You page. Like, nobody follows anybody, right? So people on TikTok are so lazy and they have so much ADD, and I mean that respectfully, that they're not even choosing who to follow. They want everything done for them. So don't make them work. That's why I think we had a really low AOV on our product page. It was like, hey, here's this ad about this one product. Let me get that one, and then let me return back to TikTok. So I want to get that information so I can follow with them later when they are in a better state to shop. When they're a little bit more zoomed out and not just scrolling through TikTok. And the other reason is, I want to do it for them. Can I put together a bundle? Can I make it super, super easy and personalized where they don't even have to think? And to me, the quiz is a perfect way to do that, because it's just engaging. We've got a lot of photos on our quiz. If you go to our website, jonesroadbeauty.com, if somebody can, oh, perfect. Somebody tossed it in the chat, but you can check it out there, So it's engaging, it's fun, it's not a lot of work, there's not a lot of thinking. And you literally, the Octane AI does the work, for somebody, and they literally put the answers right in front of them, and then hopefully they can check out in 1-2 clicks. It's like super easy. So you don't want to change somebody's behavior. You don't want to ask somebody to kind of change their mental state that they're in. So to me, that's one of the reasons why the quiz works so well. And then obviously, it just from a numbers perspective, quizzes, always have a really high conversion rate and have a really high AOV, because what you're doing is, the reason people don't buy stuff if they are interested, meaning like they would bounce and not convert, is because they're either the value is not there, or most commonly they have objections, and they have a lot of objections about what's the right product for me? Is this the right shade for me? If I'm buying this for somebody else, is this going to be what they want? So the more that you can do and to use that quiz to educate your customer and make it really easy for them and make them really confident in making the right purchasing decision, the better you're going to be. And yes, like, conversion rate optimization and doing all of your stuff on your product pages and landing pages is important, getting that social proof in there. But to me, there's no better way than using a quiz. So that's kind of one reason why I'm huge on it. Any questions before I go on? Matt, do you have anything that you see in the comments? Does anyone have questions, or do you want me to
Yeah.
clarify anything?
Yeah. So, real quick, I think like I've been following along with your strategy. Could you kind of like, you were like, oh, I was like watching you on Twitter, as I'm sure a bunch of other people were. In the beginning, you were like, I don't know, maybe I'm skeptical of TikTok. I'm like not sure about it. And then you were like, hey, I'm actually spending $1,000 a day on TikTok now. I'm like really bullish. You're like, oh, I'm spending 2,000. Now it's like 7,000. Now it's 8,000. You're just like increasingly like, it's obviously working really well, and so it's
Yeah.
been really interesting to kind of like follow you along. And I know a lot of other people, I've seen them on Twitter, who are starting to copy your techniques as well, and then they're really getting a lot of success from it too. And I feel like,
Sure.
the old way that people, especially before iOS kind of removed the ability for all these advertising platforms to be able to track people, the way you used to do things, not you specifically, but just merchants in general, is you would run really hyper targeted ads, as like targeted as you could. And then a lot of people would focus on getting someone to convert immediately, and they'd be sending people directly to a product page. And like you said, this can decrease, the amount that someone might spend, right? Like your average order value. But the other problem is that now that Apple has blocked all these advertising platforms like TikTok and Facebook and Snapchat and Google, from tracking every single thing that people do, you can't run as targeted ads anymore. You can't get as targeted an audience. And so you have to be okay with knowing that you're going to be reaching more broad audiences. And so in this new world, which is the same for everybody, not just you, your approach to this, which I find super fascinating, is hey, it's okay. We're going to advertise towards broad audiences. That makes sense. That's how we have to do it. But instead of trying to sell people immediately, because these audiences are so broad, instead, what we're going to do is we're gonna, Facebook and TikTok can't get to know them. We're gonna get to know them ourselves as Jones Road Beauty. We're gonna have a Octane AI quiz. We're gonna ask them questions, and maybe we can like share your quiz. But it's like, what type of skin do you have? Like, different things about who you are, so that you as a brand, you don't just know what pages they looked at. You actually know like who this person is, relative to what you're selling. And then now you have all this data, this like zero party data, which you're able to sync to your platforms. Maybe that's Klaviyo, maybe that's Attentive, and now you can start to personalize your welcome flow. So someone with different skin types is going to get different emails. When you send out a campaign about a new announcement, you can send it to different people who haven't purchased yet. And that's what you're talking about in terms of like building a relationship. You're not selling the product, you're selling the brand. And I'm super excited about this like strategy of marketing, because it seems really friendly. It seems like really human. Like it's really good
Really
for like the end person. But then it also turns out that it's also really good for you and your business. So I think
funny
this
how
is
that
pretty cool.
works, right? Like you give people a really good experience and you personalize things and help them, and then the numbers in the back end look better. It's funny how that works, right?
It's crazy. And I know like last time we were talking on our Twitter Spaces last week, that one of the examples that I was telling you that I really like to think about is like, if you imagine that your online store was actually a physical store, and you had physical people who are walking into your store. If you don't have a quiz, right, it's kind of like they're walking into a store and nobody works there, and like maybe they know they want to buy something, they want to take care of their skin, or whatever the type of product is that you sell, but they don't know which thing is right for them. And the way that people do marketing without a quiz is they'll look at what products they looked at on the shelf, and then they'll contact them about those later. But if the person has no idea what makes sense for them, they could be looking at any number of things. So contacting them to buy those things could, maybe they don't buy them, maybe they buy them, they have to return them because it's not a good fit. Whereas with a quiz, you're like suddenly have this person who's really nice, giving a VIP experience, who welcomes every single person who walks through that virtual door and is like, hey, what are you looking for? Like, who are you? What's going on with you? Oh, this is exactly what you should have. This is exactly why you should have it. No worries if you don't want it now. I'm gonna just like follow up with some useful advice and information over time. Yeah, like you said, crazy that actually shows up in the numbers.
100%. So we have one physical store, and I was literally in there for one day, and I just kind of remember this one customer interaction. So I wrote about this in one of my newsletters, where I was talking about like my approach to landing pages and how we're going to be testing landing pages this year. And the advertorial to a quiz was a huge one. But the way I think about it, imagine if you have a physical store and somebody walked in the door and you didn't get their name, you didn't tell them anything, you just grabbed them by the shoulders and you literally steered them to a shelf into a product. To me, that's what sending cold prospecting traffic to a product page is. And I know that's a ridiculous comparison, because everything that happens in real life is not the same as that's online, but that's at least how I would urge everybody to think about it. And I would really think about, how can you use landing pages? Because I think a lot of times people come from, like, I come from a very direct response performance marketing background. Like, landing pages are good for conversion optimization, like getting CPAs down. But why does that work? I think actually they're really good for doing it in a brand first style, where it's like you can educate people on the brand, on the mission, right? Because I want people to know that before buying the products. You can educate them on what your value props are, why you versus other stuff. Like, do it in a really brand first way that actually provides a really good experience. And to me, after that landing page, and you can use different styles of landing pages, and advertorial is just one that we found a ton of success with, but we're going to test other ones. Then to me, it makes the most sense to go to the quiz, because of all those reasons we're talking about.
Okay, some questions. I'll read them off, and if anybody else has any questions, drop them in the chat. I'll start reading them. So, do you have a sense of how long it takes from when someone takes the quiz, coming off a TikTok lander, to when they make a purchase?
I don't actually. That's something I probably should. I'd have to think, and if anybody has any suggestions about how to go about finding that data. So we use Triple Whale first party pixel, so that's how we're getting a lot of it. I'd have to think about how we would go about getting that. No, I don't totally know. I mean, I guess I could probably look at some stuff in Google Analytics. I don't spend that much time in there, and I could also look at like comparing like our TikTok like 1 day attribution or first click attribution compared to like longer term attribution. But no, I'm sorry, I don't know.
Okay, maybe we'll follow back on that once we all collectively figure out a solution. Again, we're like this is like forefront of the trying to adapt to this new world of advertising. Okay, so are you still optimizing for purchase conversion with the quiz funnel?
100%. 100%. And here's the thing about it, right? Like we're getting, according to Triple Whale, that we can track our, email sign up rate and cost per email sign up. We're getting on TikTok emails using our quiz for like $7 per email, which is like stupid cheap. And that's not like in like a lead gen space, like anything. If I'm getting like newsletter signups or anything, like I'll take a $7 lead, but usually you're negative on that because they're not buying anything right away. We are very, this is at a ROAS of 2 to 3, and they're also getting that. Like, so if you took two ads, right, or two campaigns, you had the same ROAS. You had a ROAS of 2, but one of them you're getting like $70 per email because you're just driving to a homepage or a product page, and the other one is 70, and just multiply that difference, how many emails you'd get going to a quiz, multiply that by how much you're spending per year. Like the long-term incremental impact of that is huge, just in terms of being able to follow with those people and build your own list, build your email list. So yeah, definitely still optimizing for purchases 100%, but that's a big kind of consideration and factor.
And another maybe important point is it's not just $7 per email. It's $7 for an email and the entire profile of
Good.
that person.
Yeah, you're right, it's not an email. Yeah, 100%.
Okay, next question. Uh, have you tried polls, I guess as an alternative to a quiz, to get an email even quicker?
I don't totally understand the question, do you? Like what's a poll?
Jonas, do you want to do maybe a follow up in the chat to clarify? I'll move on to the next one. We can get back to you afterwards. Okay, have you used a quiz top of funnel on Facebook, Instagram as well?
Yeah, 100%. So for a while, this was way before TikTok, we were running middle of funnel. So retargeting, a quiz was kind of one of our main retargeting ads for a while. Because if you think about it, if somebody goes to your website, and we're a beauty brand, and most people are used to buying beauty stuff, in store, so they get to play around with it, they get to look at the colors and stuff like that. So yeah, they see an ad, they see a top of funnel ad for our product Miracle Balm. It's like, oh, it's great. I have some value built up. Like the top of funnel ad built value, but there's still certainty objections. So it's like, all right, this is great, but what shade do I wear? I don't really know. I can't figure it out. Let me bounce. So we retarget them with a find your shade. It's literally just a find your shade, take the quiz, find the shade. We literally just take it to the quiz page. We don't take them to like an advertorial or anything, and that does super well. But we just started doing, after this TikTok success, Facebook top of funnel, and I would say probably our best top of funnel ads right now are going to that same exact advertorial. A lot of them are even the same TikTok. If you guys are running TikTok ads and you've got something that's working on TikTok, put that as a Facebook ad and it can crush it.
So basically, across the board, your new strategy is when people show interest in an ad and click it, instead of dropping them into an experience where they're all on their own, you drop them into a conversation powered by the Octane AI quiz.
Yeah, because if you think about it, right, like I think there's like 4 or 5 reasons why somebody would make it to your website, display some buying intent, and then not buy, right? A is they forgot, right? They just got busy. Oh, I'll do it later. B is they're waiting for a discount. Some people do that. They'll sign up for your email list or just kind of wait to get retargeted or whatever. So what most marketers do is they do abandoned cart emails, and then they do retargeting ads. That's like, hey, we noticed you left something behind. Or it's like, here's a discount. We noticed you left something, like complete your cart, get a discount. And like, yes, it works. The returns can look good there, but to me, it's lazy. It's cheap. It's not how I want to be acquiring customers. So I think I would rather focus on the other reasons why somebody might have left. A, the value was not built enough. Yeah, they meant to the site, but they're like, I don't really know why I need it. Education, you can put some stuff in there. You can educate. You can use whitelisting, UGC. Put some kind of education in there. And again, that can always even lead to a quiz. Another one is certainty, right? That's going to be the biggest one. So I love to follow with some type of social proof. I'll use like whitelisting, UGC, but also I'll use some kind of press stuff as well. And then the final one would be, the uncertainty or around uncertainty. The other way to overcome it is specifically what are their objections. If it's shade finding, which is for ours, guess what? We have a shade finder quiz that anybody that makes it to our website and doesn't buy, we're going to try to retarget them and put in our email flows our shade finding quiz.
Okay, next question, and it looks like a couple people asked this question, and I'm curious what your answer to this one would be. But it looks like a lot of people are trying to figure out, they want to add a quiz to their website to kind of replicate this, and they're trying to decide, do they want to use Typeform, which is a popular form builder, or do they want to use Octane AI? So is like you use Octane AI for your quiz, you obviously could go sign up for Typeform instead. Why would you suggest one or the other?
So many reasons. I mean, 100% absolutely do not use Typeform. First of all, not at all what it's made for. In fact, just personally, I have a bias against Typeform. If I see Typeform for like a form I want to fill out, I usually stop it. I just hate Typeform. I hate the UX. It's slow. It loads slow. Like I would never send traffic to there. Um, I'm not familiar with what the integrations. You probably have to hook up Zapier or something like that and then send that to Klaviyo. So you're not going to get nearly the same amount of data passed through. And even if you did it, it's going to be so much more difficult. For us, we are a brand that has a very elevated aesthetic. I would never put a Typeform on our website. It just looks terrible. I have very strong feelings about Typeform, if you can't tell. So to me, Octane AI this is what they do. They make quizzes. They allow you to put your own CSS in there. They allow you to match them to your website. You embed them on any page that you want. They integrate with all the major players. They integrate with Klaviyo and all the other ones that you would need. You can now, as Matt showed in the product roadmap, you can now get, just like you would from Shopify, like a feed going exactly of what people have said. The stuff that you can do with conditional logic, building out different results pages based on the answers people have said, like it's just such a no-brainer in my opinion, and I'm not paid to say that at all.
And on Typeform, you can't embed products at the end either, which I figure if you want to have a quiz on your Shopify store, one of the like really powerful features of that is at the end of the quiz, you can say, oh, hey, here's actually the products that I would recommend. And you can actually add them to the cart and check out if you're using Octane. And I think Typeform, I won't go as strongly as Cody on like Typeform is horrible, but probably for this use case, I would fully agree with Cody. I think if you like had a website with like a contact form or something and you wanted to use Typeform for that, that could make sense. But where we've gone as a company for Octane AI is we are so narrowly focused on the use case of e-commerce. How can we help you talk to your customers, your prospective customers? How can we make it, like Cody said, as visually appealing and aesthetic as possible and give you any flexibility you want? Do you want to ask different questions based on how they answered previous questions? We allow you to make completely dynamic landing pages basically at the end of the quiz, where depending on how they answered questions, different products show up, different images can show up, different text can show up. They get a fully personalized experience. So, we have a long way to go. There's a lot of things we still need to do, but I think that's probably why, and I'm really thank you, Cody, for saying all of those things. That's why Cody's saying that, because we're just so narrowly focused on the exact use case that Cody and every other merchant is trying to achieve.
Yeah, it's just about using the right tool for the job, and like I want to use the best of the best for everything that we're using, and that's why we use Octane AI. And like Typeform might be fine for a contact form, but this is just not what it's made for. So you're gonna have to do so much duct taping, and especially at any reasonable amount of spend and scale, I just don't think it's a great long term solution.
There's one thing that I don't think most people necessarily know, but if you're in like the Shopify admin panel, like you're managing your store, there's the point of sales section that some people turn on if they actually have like an in-person store. And when you're in the point of sales section of the Shopify admin, there's like a little button that's basically saying like you should go get some hardware for your point of sales because you need a way to take credit cards. You need some actual like technical equipment in your store. And the Shopify admin links to a quiz on their own Shopify store, the Shopify hardware store, and that quiz is powered by Octane. And so there's a button inside the Shopify admin where if you click it, it takes you to an Octane AI quiz, which I think is like super, super awesome. And that's been crushing it for Shopify. So Shopify uses Octane to power the Shopify quiz, which is pretty cool. Okay, let's see. Other questions. A lot of people want to know if there's recording. So we definitely recorded it. We'll figure that out. Let's see. Yeah, for the people asking about Octane and Typeform, we use both. Typeform we use for customer surveys and feedback. Octane we use for lead gen and provides a better native experience. Okay. No more questions at the moment. So I guess Cody, if you're, I don't know if you're like in a position and maybe you have like a crazy ton of tabs open or something, but could you potentially share the landing page that you're sending people to,
Yeah, of
and then
course.
maybe take everybody through the quiz? I also, it would be cool if you could show where on your website you link to the quiz, because I think that you all do a really good job with how you integrated the quiz into the site.
Yeah, of course. Let me just I don't know if there's any other questions. I'm just gonna pull a bunch of tabs open while like, before I share.
Yep. Okay, that sounds good. Totally understand. Yeah. So if anybody else has any questions, put them in the chat, and then also just as like the preview for what's going to happen next week, we have Katya and Lindsay, who are also from the Octane AI team, who are like, "Why are you calling this out right now?" But they're on video. If you wave right now, uh, next week they'll be talking about what are all the things that we're coming out with in the future. So if Cody's excited about what we have now, I hope that he would be even more excited about what we are going to be doing in the future. And I know Cody, we've been talking. You have some suggestions and some requests. So next week, everyone will get a full download of what our roadmap looks like and our kind of approach with this. And again, this is like a very new thing we're doing, and we're doing this. What we did today, we're doing every Wednesday. Now, again, Cody will not always be he's not presenting next week. So today was Cody. Next week is somebody different. But our goal here is we're kind of trying to build Octane AI in public, because ultimately we're building this for all of you, and you have really crazy lives where you're trying to grow your own businesses, and we're just here almost as your like research and development team, trying our hardest to give you the best in class software to get to know your customers and to optimize your funnel. So if you have suggestions for what you want us doing, improvements you want us to make, you want to see what the future of Octane AI looks like, we're basically just like opening the books. So you're very much included in that, because you're the ones that are going to be using this, and we're building it for you.
Love that. Love building public. All right, ready?
Let's do it.
All right, cool. So yeah, let me just share what some of this is looking like. And we'll talk about a few things about kind of how we're doing it. So here's our lander. We use builder.io. We're switching kind of to OS 2.0, so we're definitely going to do some landers on there. But here it is. I'm just trying to minimize all that stuff. All right, cool. So it's super simple, no header, anything like that. 5 reasons why. I built this myself. I have absolutely no design skills. I'm going to show you. We're having our designer actually like try to do like a very on-brand, pretty version of it. We'll see if that converts better. Maybe it won't. It's just super simple. The important thing is, right, you have to have a good headline. You need proper visual hierarchy so people know where to look. Most people are never going to read this stuff, so it doesn't really matter. But you need proper spacing. Show and sell with your images or GIFs if you can use them. So it's just kind of a 5 reasons why right here. Number 5, so the way I look at it, I was helping somebody earlier, like number 1 and 2 of your reasons should really be about benefits and emotional benefits, if anything. We don't necessarily solve a problem, right? We don't usually talk about the problems we solve. We kind of talk more about the solutions that we provide a lot, emotionally and just kind of physically. And then also, but if I was a brand that like had a serious problem that you're helping people fix, let's say it was like, again, I don't even know an example. Let's just say it was like weight loss. Like I would talk about the problems first, and then I would go into kind of like value props and features. And then the last one I would talk about is going to now start talking about like your offer. So I go like value props here and offer. And our offer here is a quiz. So we lead people right to the quiz. It's our only CTA. We have it there. We have it there. We have some social proof. There's nothing else you can do on this page, but go to the quiz. We have it embedded on our website. So let me just show you where we have it normally. So this is our homepage. We've got it right up here. I would love to test actually putting it here. I'd have to get that approved by some people, but I'd love to test, do some split testing of it there. And then we've got it here. Um, we've got it here. What we're doing right now, we just have one quiz.
And the product page.
And yeah, actually, let me show that. So I'm actually going to give you a sneak peek at our new product page that's kind of in progress right now. Like here's like a normal product page, and there's totally things that can be improved upon. I don't totally love it. Here's our new one that I'm super excited about. This should launch soon. And on every one, we're going to have right here, find my shade. It's huge. Just helps us drive so many more emails, get a ton more first party data. Our entire goal in terms of our overall retention strategy is here is how can we get as many people going through our quiz as we can. So what we're doing right now, we have one main quiz. We are building out several. So we're gonna have one main quiz that's gonna be like a routine finder, so like product and shade, and then we're gonna have separate ones for different products. Like our top seller is Miracle Balm. We're gonna have a Miracle Balm quiz. We're gonna have a face pencil quiz. We're gonna have a lip and cheek quiz, and we're just gonna put those on the product pages. So that's something I'm super excited about. But you can see like our aesthetic and overall, like we've got our fonts in here. We're able to put our images with our fonts. It's you know it's just a nice looking quiz, I think. And again, like if you watch this, so if you notice, like if I click on like a different skin tone, like look at the images that I'm being shown, right? So you're able to really personalize it, help people really understand what is most important, to them and there. So we allow them to skip it. We could definitely split test that. And then here's our product, here's our results page. So based on what they said, we're recommending different things, so different products, and then also different shades. The one thing, I think there's a few things that we can do a lot better about this page. One is we're not explaining why. So yes, this is what we recommended. We need to do a better job linking. Here's why we're giving you this. You said this. You said your skin was this color. Like give them like a summary. So it's almost like the way I look at it is like if you're having a conversation with somebody, they should be nodding back. They should be responding to you. If they're just asking you a question and then just straight going to the next question, like that's not a very engaging conversation. So we want to be a little bit more engaging with this and actually like repeat stuff back. So like along the quiz, like we might actually put some copy in here, like below it of like, something like that. Like, oh, I hear you, something about dry skin. So I know that I'm proving that our quiz actually works, that I'm not just recommending the same thing to everybody, but I'm actually proving it, like how personalized we're making it. So that's something I'm super excited about. I think there's a ton of improvements that we can do. Again, we can skip that, or if you get the email, you get the flow, but you can see we're getting different shades and we're even getting different products recommended just based on what those answers are. So that's stuff that, I know Octane AI can help you build out, and it's pretty amazing what you can do with it. And let me just show you one more landing page. So this is one that we're working on right now.
And then where do you also send all that data?
ABO is the main one.
Yeah, because you send all the answers and the email go right into Klaviyo instantly. And then how are you using that data on the Klaviyo side? And I think you're also using it on the SMS side a little bit.
Yeah, we are. We're like just getting started, really using them in the SMS side with Attentive, but Klaviyo is huge. So we have a quiz welcome flow. So it's a welcome flow of people that take the quiz. And again, I think we can build it out so much bigger and so much better. But even without totally optimizing it, it is our highest revenue per recipient, because our first email is here's your results. And I will say that we built this email out before the new update where we could dynamically send back the products. So what we did is we're using dynamic sections inside Klaviyo based on what all of the quiz data, all of the answer data is getting back into the person's profile properties in Klaviyo. And based on what they said, we can either show or hide a certain block. So we literally have 25 of our face pencil shades, and you'll get the 2 to 3 that you said, and all the other ones won't show. But it takes a ton of time to set that up, which is why I'm super excited about the update there. So that's one way you can use it, is building out a super personalized flow. Because if they don't order right away, let's follow up with them. Hey, you said dark circles are your main concern. Here's how to get rid of dark circles. Or you said faces is what you're most interested in. Like, why am I going to follow up about an eye product of somebody who said face is most interested? So not only is that going to be great for your revenue and your revenue per recipient, but the reason why is because you're actually giving people a really personalized experience, showing that you're listening to them and caring about them. You can even put that into a post purchase. So it doesn't stop before they purchase. Like, you should either be building out a separate post purchase for people that took the quiz, or just having one post purchase and really narrowing down and putting a ton of conditional splits. I mean, and I think you guys are having somebody from Klaviyo on soon, aren't you?
Yeah, so we're going to be doing a Klaviyo like training, not next Wednesday, but the Wednesday after that.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I'm excited for that. I'm definitely gonna tune in because, like, you can build out some really elaborate flows in Klaviyo, and I really think that you should. They should look like a mess. They should be huge, but the customer's never gonna see that back end. And that's just for us to figure out. Like, the customers are not gonna know that they're in this flow. They're just gonna feel like they're getting a really good experience and they're having a really good time getting to know this brand, and that's what's most important.
Yeah, because I think like right now, what we've seen that most brands do is if somebody submits their email to something and then doesn't complete a purchase, that every single person gets the exact same emails in the
Totally.
welcome series. And I think what's really powerful with having an Octane AI quiz that gets to know people first, like you get to know them right away, even if they haven't purchased yet. Now, instead of sending every single person the same exact welcome series, you can personalize them a little bit, or you can go crazy and personalize them a lot. So, like for skincare, if previously you were talking to everybody the same, you're talking to people with wrinkles the same as people who are, have dry skin or are worried about acne. Like, right now you might be talking to all of them as if they're the exact same person. Whereas if you spend the time to get to know them with the Octane AI quiz, now someone who said that they're worried about wrinkles and they haven't purchased yet, your welcome series can focus on which of your products are focused on helping you, avoid getting wrinkles. If someone is worried about dry skin, now your welcome series can be focused on talking to them about how to alleviate dry skin. It's almost like what you might have used to do on advertising platforms which didn't even allow you to target people with dry skin. It's almost like your email and your SMS are your own advertising platforms now, but you're just building a relationship yourself. And instead of relying on data that others are tracking, like a Facebook or a TikTok or Google or whoever, you're taking the time to build your own massive database, and then you're using that to intelligently show the right thing at the right time to the right people. Which is that's in my opinion, that's the future of marketing. And I
100%
think
agree.
Cody, you're like that's what you're exactly what you're doing.
100% agree, but I like how you're thinking about it and saying, like, I never thought about that. You were before, you're like, oh, most people were narrow on advertising, so like really targeted, dialed in, and then broad on like their retention and follow up. And like, I hadn't thought about it like that. And now it's like broad on marketing, like
Yep.
kind of same message to everybody, and then go narrow and personalized in your own communications. And I really like that way to think about it. I mean, I think just as important as that Facebook targeting was for brands is how important having a quiz and first party data is going to be for brands going forward. I think it's non-negotiable, and most brands at this point have a quiz. A lot more are using it as a huge part of what they do. And I really think it's only a matter of time where every single e-commerce brand is going to have a quiz on their website.
Yeah, I agree. And we're here at Octane to make that as good as humanly possible. And we've been working on this for many, many years. Um, Shopify has us featured on their homepage of the App Store right now, which we're always appreciative of Shopify doing that. But again, like there's a lot that we need to be doing. Like we want to make the design capabilities of Octane even better. We want to make it even easier to set these things up. We want to start adding, artificial intelligence that can actually help you optimize some of these different phases. There's a lot of things that, there's many, 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 many years of things that we're going to need to be building here. So thank you everybody for joining us. This is the first like Octane AI community event. This was kind of an experiment. I wasn't even sure if anybody would show up, but
Yeah, can
Cody,
we get some
you
feedback? Because it's just been Matt and I. Like, can
yeah.
you guys leave some comments in the chat? Like, is this good? Should we do this again? Should we come back on or not? Okay, this was awesome. All right, thanks,
Super
guys.
helpful. Need more. It was great.
Yeah.
Awesome. Amazing. Fuck yeah. Someone says awesome. Cool.
Thanks, guys.
Okay,
I appreciate
that's really awesome because it's we're up here talking and we hope that everyone finds value, but it's super energizing. Like I'm gonna go crush the rest of my day today. Cody, I hope you do the same, and everybody else here because I
I'm
feel
gonna go sleep personally, but yeah.
super. I feel super energized. But yeah, we're doing this every Wednesday. So next Wednesday, come hang out. If you haven't added it to the calendar, go to octaneai.com/community. Go hit the RSVP button, add it. We're gonna spend tons of our time making sure that every Wednesday we have content just like this. And it's like casual, it's fun, everybody can be involved. That's the goal here. And you can be a part of making this content better, but then also making Octane AI as good as possible. Where the goal here is that we're all kind of working together, diving into this future that is e-commerce marketing. Also, if you're not in the Discord yet, and maybe you've never used Discord, that's okay. Go download Discord. It's like Slack, but it's just better for communities. You don't have to pay anything or anything like that. And then to join ours, go to octaneai.com/Discord. Here, let me drop these links real quick. So octaneai.com/community and octaneai.com/Discord. And then, yeah, the recording, we have this recorded. This is the first one we've ever done. So we got to figure out exactly what we do with the recording. Maybe we just release it as is. Maybe we edit it a little bit, put some great, text overlays on top of Cody's face or something. And then, yeah.
Do I look that bad today?
No, just, we make it stick to your forehead so that people know where to subscribe to your newsletter. We'll just have it track. And maybe we'll convince Cody to give us some of his ad creatives, and then we'll make some sort of like, one pager or something where it's like Cody's ad, the landing page, the quiz email. I'm sure people would really like to see that like infographic. So we will work on that. Cody, thank you. We nailed it on timing. We're like 60 seconds over. Okay, again, Cody, give everybody your Twitter, or drop your newsletter link in the chat.
Do that again.
Everybody who is not on Cody's newsletter, go subscribe to Cody's newsletter.
Yeah, so just drop it in there, and then Twitter at Cody Ploff, CODYPLOF. You can find newsletter in there. Give me a follow. Say what's up, and then join the newsletter if you want.
Woo! Thank you, Cody. Thank you, everybody. That concludes it. Woo!
Thanks, guys.